What is up, Jeromes? Happy Monday out there, everyone, everywhere. Daily Jeromes live stream coming at you 11 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Thursday, except for tomorrow. We'll get into that for a sec. But yeah, just amazing. Different tone and tenor from last Monday's live stream, but I mean, the Vikings were due. A little bit of luck, a little bit of one time. Maybe just playing with my heartstrings the entire damn way. And of course, as of right now, I'm uploading a video just celebrating our greatness and wondery. So what usually happens is we'll open up the live stream and it'll be excellent connection for a hot second. Then all of a sudden something will pop up. And it's like, oh, and this is not working. That's not working properly. But yeah, can't complain. We're here on a Monday. We're on this side of the dirt. And our football team is 5-6, the best 5-6 team in National Football League history. So what can you do? What can you do, man? It's a good time. So we got some Q&As. Let's see here. Yeah, we got Q&A going on. Also, so tomorrow, no live stream because I'm taking my kid to the dentist. Actually, wait, we could probably do a live stream, just not at 11. We'll work things out. We'll decide here. So we'll get into the questions. We'll give a couple shouts here in a sec. I always love doing that. Number one, Andy Shong. Why is football so stupid yet so entertaining? So I think we said that on the recap video. I was supposed to have that question too. That's a good question. Lily Emma, with their win yesterday and the Bears lost yesterday, now putting us number 2 in division, number 8 playoff seed. What do you think our chances are of making the playoffs? Do you think we'll lose any games? If so, which ones? Now, I think the Vikings got the wake-up call with the Cowboys as well as finally a little bit of luck with the Panthers. I think they will win out. Hope you have an amazing Monday so far. Hey, you too. Victory Monday. Skol. Stay healthy and safe. Damn straight. All right, so for the Vikings, let's see. ESPN, NFL, Playoff Machine, and 538. All right, so going through, the Vikings still control their own destiny. So if they win out, they're in no matter what. Playoff chances right now are at 30%. And as bad as it sounds, it was better for the Vikings in the grand scheme of things of just getting into the playoffs that the Bears lost last night, even though. All right, so Vikings beating Jacksonville, beating Tampa. It's obviously going to help things out, but all right, so apologies if there's a little bit of lag on the stream. I don't know what's going on with the internet today, but so peep this. So check this out. All right, so Vikings take care of business against Jacksonville week 13. Vikings, that's a win, dog. And then the Rams beat the Cardinals at Arizona next week. There you go. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Also, look who that weekend, wildcard weekend matchup is. 7-2. Ooh. I'm okay with that, man. I'm okay because no one wants any of this smoke of the Vikings in the playoffs. They don't. No one wants it. No one wants any of this. It's a good time. So next up, Tyler. Have you seen the video of Thielen's reaction to the Vikings? Seems much more of a fan than a player than when watching that. I loved. Yeah, I mean, so this doesn't get talked about enough. So Thielen grew up as a Vikings fan, so he has known all the pain and disappointment. So he's been there for '98. He's been there for '09. So. Yeah, he is absolutely a true fan, and it was fun, man. Plus, do you find yourself just walking around the house and just randomly saying, "What's the flag for?" He sounds like Charlie Barons in terms of just that Midwestern accent. Like he sounds like a cast extra from one of the first seasons of Fargo. Just amazing, man. Brady Miller. I'm so excited for this team's future. We've faced so much adversity as a young team, and yet we still get the job done. Absolutely, man. I mean, I feel like this season has just found money. It's whatever with the youth and the injuries and the COVID. But yeah, if they can put together a run, I think that's absolutely just win, lose, or draw. The Vikings don't make the playoffs. They go one and done. The future is extremely bright for this team. And going back to Thielen thing. So I mean, it's different because he's in those meeting rooms with Chad Beebe. He's friends with them. He knows what the Beebs has been through, and he has to know that Beebe's lowest moment was that muff punt, and then to have him come back and catch the game-winning touchdown. I mean, let's go. I mean, also, Thielen, obviously very good friends with Teddy back in the day as well. So, I mean, had to be a little bit conflicted. Not really, since it's his team, but man. Folds right in the wall. Call me crazy, but seeing that come from behind and have Kirk clutch up makes me feel better than if they had won comfortably. This shows they can play from behind. Yeah, I think this team did gain a lot of confidence. Now, hopefully, it won't be the same against Jacksonville. Hopefully, it won't be the same against Chicago. I'm down to clown with some street fight games against the Bucs as well as the Saints. It's going to be tough. It's going to be fun. But also take care of business against the Lions as well. Scott Lean. That game kind of felt like the Denver game last year. Yeah, where everyone was celebrating that come from behind win, but why were you down 20-0 against Denver last year anyway, man? Also, when do you think Ezra will be back? He's such a difference maker out there. Hopefully it's this week, because if the ankle injury had been so bad that he was going to miss 3 games in all likelihood, I think they would have put him on IR and then just brought him back. But he's missed 2 games. Hopefully he won't miss 3. Vikings obviously would love to have him back. Traveler. We know what happened to Bridgewater after limping off the field at the end of the game. He looked really rough. I don't think that there's been an update on that besides the whole Matt Rule. Next up, Jeromes. Oh, by the way, just getting that gift from Joe Brady for throwing it on 2nd and 3rd down before the 2-minute warning. Woo! My God. Gerald Smith. I like how Kirk's my favorite cousin can make an era, and next series he just forgets and it drops a dime. I love it. I mean, what other cousins do we like besides like familial cousins? Obviously, family comes first. But what, DeMarcus Cousins? I think there's a Bears cornerback named Terry Cousins back in the day. Daniel Olson. Did you watch Adam Thielen's reaction video? Yes. How do we actually? What's the flag for? Folds right in the wall. Potential defensive rookie of the year. As like, yeah, my God. Hopefully no more Vilma, no more Kenny Albert games, because, yeah, I like Jeremy Chin, but I don't want Jeremy Chin all over my face, man. I mean, come on. Oh, potential defensive rookie of the year. Who gives a Evan Cascadaway. Who'd you like to see on punt return next week? I don't know, Percy Harvin. Got to have someone back there. Like, do you have the Stones put BB back there again? Because not only besides the muff, I mean, that first punt that he had where he got lit up, props for him hanging on, but he should have called a fair catch, which is just as important of knowing when to call a fair catch and actually securing it. I don't know. Do they bring Sherrills back? Except everyone remembers the 2 muffs against San Francisco. I don't know. Andy Shong, is this why we root for the Vikings? Because every victory feels so good? Probably. Plus, we do like the lovable loser angle. This guy. I know this is kind of early, but which 2021 free agents do you think the Vikings should go for? Who else do we need to make that final push for a Lombardi trophy? I haven't really looked at who's going to be available. If they can get a cheap veteran pass rusher, like maybe not Adrian Claiborne per se, but an Adrian Claiborne adjacent type player, would make some sense. I think the Vikings will be big buyers in free agency because of the cap situation. Maybe utility borderline starter offensive lineman. Just try and find the next Tom Johnson and Joe Berger, respectively. Maybe, I don't know. Hell, maybe they go all in. Maybe they go after J.C. Jackson. I don't know. Game of Jones. Kirk Cousins is such a streaky quarterback. He played great today, and I have for the guy question, what did you think of the play of the backups on offense? BCBB, Conklin, and Brett Jones. Brett Jones played great. Second really good game. I think, frankly, he should start. I think he should remain. I think Dakota Dozier should go to the bench once Ezra Cleveland gets back. As well as, BC played great as well. Some really big-time catches. Had 7 catches on 7 targets. Of course, BB catching the game winner. So, yeah, they stepped up great, especially in crunch time. Perped out. Coming into this game, I was a bit nervous without AT because we don't have a true third receiver. But in the end, BC and BB duo stepped up huge in terms of playing wide receiver. Cough, cough, BB. What are your thoughts on them coming off their career best day? I think BC showed a lot of potential yesterday. I think it was a good confidence builder, especially going into crunch time the rest of the season and in the playoffs, where there will be times when maybe 18 and 19 they just have an off day. Maybe they double both of them and someone else has to step up. So I think this game will give those guys the confidence to know that they can step up. So I'd rather they do it now as opposed to in the playoffs. Samuel Salinger Skull. I had a feeling that BB is going to have a big play on that last drive. When I saw him almost in tears on the sideline, really happy for him. Yeah, man, that's tough. But yeah, that's the raw, real emotion right there, man. Skull, question. Why didn't we at least run the ball once in the red zone? We had 50 seconds in the best back in the league. If we would have ran it on first, we would have a better position. It's a little bit hindsight, but also you can do that when you only need a field goal. But when you need a touchdown, like, you don't want to dick around with downs. Like, you want as many chances as possible. You don't want to dick around with the clock. You just want to get in, and if there's time at the end, there's time at the end, right? So I understand why the Vikings went after it in that fashion. Also, I mean, they didn't have to give up the 40-yard post route, the defense at the end. Like, that doesn't get talked about enough, but nah. Samson Romaine. Man, Cousins look good. Enough to win a lot of games. I ran out of fingernails to bite during the game, so I had to move to my toes. Flexible. If we aren't taking a quarterback if we aren't taking a quarterback first in the draft, should we be looking towards something on the defensive side of the ball? Are there any safeties or corners that you like early, Skull? I mean, there's a lot of corners in there. There's a lot of corners in the draft. It's going to be a great corner draft as well. Also, offensive line is going to be pretty deep. I think defensively, it's kind of a top-heavy edge group, but defensive interior, I think that there's a lot of day two guys that will be early contributors on teams. So we had this conundrum on a mock draft that we did where Kwity Paye was on the board, as well as Gregory Rousseau. I don't think edge is necessarily a 1-1 need for the Vikings because I still believe in Wanham and Afadi, but I'm a team BPA guy. I have the best player on the board is an edge rusher, even though it cuts against Spielman's drafting tendencies. I said grab him. By the way, Kwity Paye is a freaking man. Plus, Paye has enough size. He can kick in on 3-tech on some early downs. I think that he would do great there as well. Absolutely great. Max McElroy, Kirk for NFC Player of the Month. I mean, maybe. Tomahawk 10. Big shout out from Montana. My question is, with all that's going on with the defense, do you think the first round pick will be sent on defense and what position? Yes. Maybe defensive interior. Maybe. Actually, I think the first round pick will still be offensive line because you look at how things may shake out, even though the Vikings will be picking in the 20s, if not the 30s. Face. But there's a lot of players that have positional flexibility. You look at Leatherwood from Alabama. You look at Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. You look at Sam Cosmi, even though Cosmi probably is just going to be only a left tackle in the NFL. Plus, you have Wyatt Davis, who's the best interior offensive lineman in this draft. So the Vikings will have some options on offensive line as well. Oh, Slater from Northwestern. Let's go. That's good. Also, let us know where we were watching from. We'll give a couple shout-outs. I was like doing that. Folger on the wall. Yes, we saw the reaction. Nate H. If Cousins continues to play like this and the season ended today and in of the abs falls to us, where do you see us going? And in the abs, I don't get the question. Joe Stupka, which do you think is more likely? 1, we go out and sign a veteran punt return for the rest of the year, preferably Marcus Sherrills. Number 2, a new in-house guy. Probably a veteran, and I would be okay with it. If not Sherrills, I would have to look at the market. Maybe we'll do a video on who potentially could be out there, but they need to figure something out. I mean, special teams are just kicking this team straight in the dick. Eventually, it's going to cost them a game. Hell, did contribute to the Dallas loss. Mr. X, what would our record be currently if this is the same defense from last year? I don't know. Last year's defense was kind of bad, too, but at least you had Daniil and Everson. But I don't know, 7-4. Take that. Reaver Ghoul. When, not if, we make it into the playoffs, what do you think, based upon the current seeding, is our best chance to make it all the way? Man, I don't really care, man. Just get in. probably going to be a wild card. Well, less than 1% chance of winning the division. But yeah, as a wild card, and this year with the Rona, no home field advantage, so that is negated. I'm actually okay going on the road. I'm okay if the Vikings have to be road warriors. But getting in 7 seed, 6 seed, yeah, I don't care. Don't care. They've shown that they can play at Seattle. They can obviously play at Green Bay. Saints don't want any of this. The Bucks don't want any of this. NFC Least don't want any of this either. So bring it. Bring it. Skull Vikings. Thoughts on Chad Beebe muffing the punt, then catch a game-winning touchdown? I have zero thoughts on either one. Zachary Wilson. Can you show Adam Thielen's reaction to the win? I don't know if we can. Probably get pulled off of the stream. Patrick Keene. Is it just me, or does Sherrills need to be signed immediately? God, if you didn't muff those 2 punts against the Niners, then obviously everyone will be in. And I think that, frankly, he would bring a lot to the table. We talked about it either last week or 2 weeks ago about signing Sherrills. It makes too much sense for it not to happen. Evan Kisconway. How's special teams coach not fired yet? Well, you do have an in-house assistant in Ryan Fitkin, but I think that Maloof could be fired in this offseason. In fact, I think he's probably a betting favorite to be replaced at the end of the year. Kisconway. I just realized since the Bucks lost, if we win next week, which we should, since they have the bye, we'll get 1 game back. The next week we'll play them 2, meaning if we beat them, be in the wild card spot. Yeah, the Vikings could be in the wild card conversation. They could take Arizona's spot next week, and then they could throw the Bucks out of the club, potentially move up. M. Kisconway, would Justin Jefferson be a good punt returner? Probably, but also I don't think he has any. Well, if he does have college experience, it's limited. And I get the feeling of wanting to put a dynamic player back at punt or kick return. I mean, they did it with Adrian on a couple kick returns. Same thing with Randy Moss. But yeah, he had 2 punt returns in college in 2018. But yeah, this is something that you don't dick around. Like I know that people point to CeeDee Lamb. Well, CeeDee Lamb was a punt returner at Oklahoma, and also, is he wide receiver 1? Is he wide receiver 2 or 3? Jefferson's pretty clearly wide receiver 1. Don't want to put him in harm's way for no reason. Evan Bajelica. Would you still do the Cook deal today? Yes. Chances of Stefan and Barr being gone the offseason? I think Stefan's more likely. I think Barr's probably going to be cut. I don't think anyone trades for that contract. I think the Vikings just cut him. Patrick Harms. BB definitely redeemed himself with that touchdown, but is he still really worth a roster spot? I mean, it'd be hard to cut him now after that. He's lucky. Yeah. I think he should be taken off punt return. I think he does add some value as a receiver, but yeah. Also, I like that we cut up our reaction to BB's muff as well as phrasing, as well as when he scored the touchdown from the live stream. Things were said. Emotions ran high, man. Joe Stupka. Who do you think would replace Anthony Harris at free safety if he walks in free agency? Draft pick TBD. Darius Washington from TCU. And I haven't done too much digging on the safety class yet, but it looks pretty decent. Of course, every class is decent at every position. It's a good running back class too, man. It's the Hawkinson Fant Irv season. Next up, Bow to Bow. Thoughts on Vilma saying Kirk Cousins is a linebacker trapped in a quarterback's body. Man, Jonathan Vilma's so bad at this. Like, when Cousins clearly went over the line and then went back and threw the ball, it's like, oh, that's Kirk Cousins making a play. Like, does he not know the rules? Does Captain Bountygate not know the rules here? Shocking. Arfree. Oh, crap. Is that a couple shoutouts? All right, let's see here. Jens Harold Claudius, Oslo, Norway. What up? Love me some Lefsa. Purple Rain Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. TK, Nashville. Got New York. We got Hudson. We got London. What's up? Pulford Skull, Nashville. What's going on? Got Mejia Megat, Oakdale. What is up? Austria. Lebanon, Kansas. Iowa. Got some corn going on. Got Virginia, Cedar Rapids. Salt Lake City. SLC up in the hizzy. Did they say hizzy anymore? Did the kids say that? Probably not. Let's see here. Mark Sonnenberg, Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Camille Clement, Panama. Omaha. Up in this B. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along on the live stream. We got Vegas up in the house. That's right. Let's see here. Samuel McMullen. Oh, no. R-Free. Can this team win consistently if they don't get dumpster fire of a special teams figured out? Bailey seems to be the only bright spot. Well, Skulkwood had a hell of a punt yesterday. They got to figure their ish out. They got to end their stupid long snapper controversy, which is so stupid. Well, they'll have to. Oh, crap. No. The Indiana quarterback, Penix, tore his ACL. Crap. That sucks. That sucks. Oh, by the way, we need to start a movement to keep Matt Nagy employed by the Bears as long as possible. We let one get away with Patricia, but yeah. Next up is Samuel McMullen. My coworker's uncle is the O-line coach for the Vikings. Ha! What's my move to try and get in and get a job for the Vikings? Let's see. Best way to get in? Well, you're probably not going to get in as a coaching assistant. I would say if you can find something with equipment or grounds, even though there isn't an official grounds crew since it's turf, but I mean, try and getting in with the maintenance, potentially security detail, something like that. Just shut up. Don't take selfies. Don't ask for autographs. Just do your job and work your way up. Could go that route. Andy Maxfield. Help me understand how the Bucks and Cardinals are imploding. Bucks have a couple injuries. Plus, I never got Brady going to Tampa because the style for BA and Brady is oil and water. I never understood it. But, I mean, the Bucks still have a ton of talent. They're just getting woodshedded. Cardinals, I think the Cardinals are still a couple years away. Like, they are a young and fun team. Love Kyler, love Nuke, love Isaiah Simmons, love Patrick Peterson, even though he's starting to wane a little bit. Love Buddha for sure, but they're just not quite ready. John Brand, right now I take Kirk over Teddy. Thoughts? Well, if Kirk plays the way that he did Sunday, sure. In. Ben Cornick. But also, man, same question. But there was a couple of dimes there that Teddy dropped were just spectacular. And yeah, he missed DJ Moore in the end zone for the game winner. Could have called game right there, but yeah. Actually, I can't wait for the All 22 to come out tonight because I want to see what Teddy was seeing there. Because was Eric Wilson potentially in that throwing lane? That's why he had to throw it behind, or what happened there? Traveler. Minute 30 remaining in second quarter. Chad Beebe catches pass down the middle, lowers his head. Oh, yeah, the helmet to helmet on, I think that was Shaq Thompson. Yeah, if Harrison had made that hit, he would be banned from the league. Nathan Schultz, what's more likely, Vikings beat both Tampa and Nola, or Cards drop 2 to the Rams? Well, logically, probably the Cards, because the Rams are good, but my heart says, Skol. Ben Cornick. Do you think, and yeah, since the Cardinals and the Rams play twice, and since the Rams are one game up on the Cardinals, I think it makes sense for the Rams to win out in that regard. So as many losses as possible on the Cards. And we pointed out after the Cardinals had that miracle Hail Murray against the Bills, like the Cardinals could lose 3 in a row. So they lost at Seattle, they lost at New England, and now they could lose hosting the Rams. So go Rams. Nathan Schultz, what's more likely? Oh, I read that one. Ben Cornick. Do you think we should keep Kirk and draft mid-round quarterback? Yes. I like Desmond Ritter. Yes. Desmond Ritter no matter what. MJ the GOAT. If Ezra and Irv are back for Tampa, we might win. And is Ezra the best O-lineman ever because we haven't looked as good without him? I think that Ezra is right now, I mean, obviously he has potential to be great, but Ezra right now is like Nick Easton on the 2017 team, where Nick Easton was not a great offensive lineman. Like he did not deserve that big contract he got with the Saints, but he was competent. And who'd they put in? They moved Remmers over and they put like Jeremiah Searles in or shot. I don't know, it's whatever. But so the Vikings in 2017 had a great movement game, both in outside zone as well as in screens. Easton getting out in front of McKinnon and Latavius Murray racking up some big time gains. But after Easton went out, everything changed. Where with Cleveland, like he's still young, he's still learning his position, but he is competent, he's solid, his great movement skills. So he really affects what the Vikings can do on offense. He's not like the keystone part yet, but he was a big deal, exactly like Easton was back then. MJ the GOAT. Oh, we read that one. I'm really good at rereading things. Game of Jones. Vikings cornerbacks have been up and down, but are still without interception. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Is this because of coverages Zimmer has been calling? It also reminds me of Rhodes' inability to pick off the ball too. Well, generally when you get more passes broken up when you're a man, you get more interceptions when you're in zone. They've been running about 50-50, and it vacillates depending on down and distance, depending on opponent. But they have been playing a lot more zone. So you think just one time. Also, Anthony Harris, can we get on the scoreboard, please, man? Come on. Pull for skull. Is it just me, or did it really look like the Panthers kicker missed 2 of his field goals? Yes. Yeah, the one that traveled over the pipe. I know that all scoring plays are reviewed. So we're trusting like the 55-year-old guy underneath the post with cataracts looking up. Yeah, it probably went in. Yeah. Peter Kopp. Is Dalvin Cook still the best running back in the NFL even after the Kings game yesterday? Obviously. Yeah. I mean, players going to have a down game. Colts were garbage because they're missing like 3 guys in their front 7. So that's whatever. Congrats. But yeah, Dalvin had a down game plus popped out with injury. Panthers are selling out to stop him. Is what it is. Jangle Pop Check. Do you see the Vikings paying Daniil top dollar when he returns, or will they shop him around for a better draft position? I don't think they trade him. I think that he could get an extension. Because remember, what was it, Rap Sheet? Right when they announced he's having surgery, and then he's like, they need to trade him or give him another contract. That came straight from the agent. So they're already playing the game. I think the Vikings will reward him. I think he'll be perfectly fine. Jake Lagavin, what is up with these starry strips on Harrison's forehead the past few games? I don't know. Maybe he's got a gash. It's possible. Perped out. With the rise of Mac Jones and Kyle Trask, do you think there's a chance we snag them with our first rounder? With how Kirk is playing, I still believe Wyatt Davis is the move, though. Yeah, I think Wyatt Davis or offensive lineman TBD is still the move. But, man, I think Jones and Trask could work their way into the first-round conversation. I think the top 4 quarterbacks will go in the top 12. And I think maybe a team with eyes on Jones or Trask will maneuver their way into the back end of the first round so they can have that 5th-year option. Even though it's not as attractive with the new CBA, still valuable. Josh Dixon, let's say Bengals end up with a 2nd pick. Woo! Would you trade Daniil Hunter to them in order to move up and take the future franchise quarterback? So basically you're trading Hunter for Fields. I would probably do it. Oh, God. God, it hurts. I would probably do it. That's a good question. Connor May, with Kirk's leadership in recent weeks, do you think we should be Kirk IMO? No, think long term, but with how he's played, I wouldn't be surprised if we keep him. Well, if he'll play this way the rest of the way, sure, or at least more consistently, keeping Kirk at bay, sure, but also draft a mid-round quarterback. Yeah, draft Kellen Mond or Desmond Ridder or Brock Purdy or Derek King. Do it. Rick Spielman or Jamie Newman. Vikings have 10 picks, so if the Vikings are drafting later, would you be open to using a bunch of those trade up for a top-tier quarterback? I mean, possibly. I mean, if Trey Lance falls, it would be super tempting. Or or Zach Wilson. Kyle Wilson. No. Daniel Tuma. Dancer has quietly been fantastic last 2 weeks. I don't think the miscommunication with Harrison against Dallas was his fault. Thoughts? Well, the miscommunication was between Harrison and Gladney, not Dantzler. Harrison and it was Dantzler and Hughes miscommunication against the Seahawks. But yeah, Dantzler has been looking good since he's come back from that injury. Evan Cascanaway, Surtain or Farley? I think it's more what you want stylistically. If you run a lot of press man, I think Farley's your guy. If you run a lot more zone or off man, I think Surtain's your guy. But it really is a 1A. I think they're both fantastic players. That guy again. What direction should the Vikings be headed for in the 2021 draft? Should they still be looking for a QB or more on the defensive side now? I say just play the board however it comes. And I know people say, well, you want to improve your draft position. Sometimes I just like when the board just comes to you. It's like how the Panthers got Derek Brown just because he fell. I mean, good players fall all the time. They're just because you have a higher draft pick does not guarantee a better pick. Because remember, 2017 first round, 13 of the 32 didn't have their fifth-year option picked up, as well as 4 out of the top 5. So, yeah. Just draft great players wherever you draft. First round, second round, third round, ninth round, whatever. Brady Miller, what positions in order need to be addressed next year? Also depends on what's available. So I guess just like boilerplate in a vacuum, I would say 3-tech, O-lineman TBD, safety if Harris leaves, wide receiver. Well, put quarterback above safety, I guess. Yeah. You could always use some freshening all over the place. Corey Mattis, will the Kirk haters stop and admit this team's problems are defense and weak pass protection? I mean, yeah. Samuel Salinger Skull, do you think when Ezra is back, he will start at left guard, Jones keep his right guard spot when Dojo gets benched? I've thought about that. It would make sense. I mean, Ezra has more experience playing on the left side before he got plopped in the games and looked pretty good at right guard. But if Jones is playing great at right guard, do you mess with that? Do you introduce moving parts? Ezra's probably going to end up on the left side anyway, whether it's at left tackle potentially or left guard. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Ben Kornick. What happens if we tie with the Cardinals for that last wildcard spot? So first tiebreaker is, conference record. Head-to-head if applicable, but it's not. So it goes to conference record. And the Vikings potentially could have the edge there. Nate Stanford. Can we get some announcers that aren't completely against the Vikings? Seems like they always get so pumped when teams score against us. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Craig Person, 10-6 one time. Screw the top 4 quarterbacks. We want Wyatt, Davis, and Derek King. I'd be okay with that. I would. Or Desmond Ridder, one of the two. Yeah. Or Christian Darrisaw. It's a good draft. It's a good draft, man. Husgamer 15. Did you see The Undertaker final farewell, and who is your favorite wrestler of all time? I did not. Favorite wrestler? I was like John Cena. Even though, so this is weird. So I used to watch wrestling a lot as a kid, but it was more the like tail end of Hulk Hogan. Actually, Hulk Hogan was kind of done. But, you know, The Rock, Undertaker, Triple H, that sort of era. So for John Cena or like The Miz, like I understand them in like the pop culture and as well as the memes. Yeah, I like their style. I think John Cena is kind of awesome. But I didn't really watch actively when they were active. But yeah, John Cena, The Rock. Oh, Jake the Snake Roberts. By the way, the resurrection of Jake the Snake, great documentary. Check that out. Also, I have a lot of respect for DDP because of what he's done with DDP Yoga, changing lives, doing great things there. That said, Sable. Anyway, perped up. If Justin Jefferson breaks the rookie record for most receiving yards in a season, what are the chances you do the gradient and post it? Hell yeah, we do it. Samson Romain pick up Kenny Stills and make him punt returner. Frick it. I don't know if Stills is return punts, but I'm still an advocate of bringing him in. Maybe not using that waiver claim because it's not as important right now for that $2 million since BC and BB had themselves a game. John Anderson TV. What do you think is best? Trading up for Wilson Lance and cut Cousins, or keep Cousins and pick up a quarterback? I would probably say the latter, since the former would have $4 to $1 million in dead cap. Yeah. Plus, if he plays like this, man, he'll be fine. Jaime Okeukin. If you score, for example, a 60-yard lateral with 4 different players touching the ball, who gets the yards in that play? Does the player who scores the touchdown get all the yards, and will it count as a pass or rush? Well, if it starts out as a pass, I believe it will count as a pass, and then the player who caught the ball initially would get the yards before he lateraled. And then the rest, I don't know. I don't know exactly how they would score it. Well, let's look. PFR 2018 Dolphins. Box score against the Patriots. Let's look at the final play. All right, so Tannehill, pass to Kenny Stills, lateral to Parker, lateral to Drake, 52 yards, touchdown. All right, so does Drake get count? Do Drake and Devontae get counted for rushing yards? All right. No, it looks like it went down as receiving. Oh, so there you go. Pretzel Boy, playoff chances. 50-50. Either they make it or they don't. Mark Jr. Is Chad Beebe a better receiver than we thought? And I don't mean kick return. Well, he's always good for a third down conversion. All he does is catch first downs on third down. Also, what receiver does he remind you of? Smaller Edelman. I'm not saying the exact Edelman because the size. He's got a little bit of Jamison Crowder to him. Or, gosh, who else? Nah, Crowder's fine. Also, 7 targets and also defense. Agreed. Westworld. We won't because Tay was throwing up some meatballs. Yeah, well, that last one to Robbie Anderson, or not Anderson, to Moore was bad. But also, I mean, there are some big drops by Anderson. But, man, there's a couple of dimes mixed in there. Griffin Creer, call me crazy, but I think Kirk could be our guy. Well, for a while. Who do you see on the team that can return punts? Thielen has gotten work returning punts before. I don't think you want to expose him to that, though. I don't know. I'd have to look because I'm sure that some of the cornerbacks have had some punt return experience. I mean, if Mike Hughes gets back from IR, Mike Hughes is a dangerous as hell punt returner. Actually, that might be the best thing about his game. And I've advocated on a video before that once Hughes gets back, screw cornerback. Just have him be a punt return. Like, make him a mini Devin Hester. Yeah, TBD there. Mitch DeBaker. Plan for the draft. First round O-line or linebacker edge cut trade Barr. Second round wide receiver. Third round quarterback Purdy Morgan Ritter. Your thoughts? I'm okay passing on wide receiver early. Third round quarterback. Purdy's ugly, but he gets it done some of the times. Morgan, I think, is going to come back to the Gophers. He hasn't really done a lot to help his draft stock. Ritter is super intriguing. Like, he is my full-on draft crush right now. But, yeah, first round, just playing the board, offensive lineman. Like if Kwity Paye falls, Barrymore. Or, I would be more inclined to pick up a defensive interior like Twyman early day two. Man, it's going to be a fun draft, man. Jared Lewis. Is Cousins play making the Vikings consider not taking quarterback the future of the draft? No, they absolutely should take one. If it happens to be the first round, if someone falls, sure. But at minimum, back at day 2. Jake Lagerman. Is them back on the hot seat if the Vikes no-show and take a slacking against the Jaguars? No, I think he's probably safe overall. Maybe even surprise fire if that happens. Well, if they get woodshedded by the Jaguars like 52-3, maybe. But, yeah. MD, mentioned this happening. Vikings make the playoffs and win Super Bowl. Cousins, Super Bowl MVP. Dalvin, MVP. Offense player. Probably not. But, yeah, Jefferson should be in the offensive rookie of the year conversation. Absolutely. I know that it's probably going to go to Justin Herbert, but Herbert had himself a down game on Sunday. Mark Jr., do you think this team can make a run because that was a close game, but everyone is healthy? I think this team is dangerous. Feeling dangerous. Also, what about the offense? Even without Thielen, Thielen is great. Yeah, man, if everyone could stay healthy and not on the COVID reserve list. LB, who would have thought the Vikings could win and then 3 teams they need to lose all lost? Yeah, it's kind of nice getting some help. Deja vu, is Johnson the best wide receiver 3 in the league? He's not even wide receiver 3. No. Probably not. I mean, the best wide receiver 3 is probably, I don't know, Deontay Johnson or Claypool. Whoever's on Steelers. Or, I don't know, Sammy Watkins. Jake Lagerman is Kendrick's playing better without his former UCLA teammate Anthony Barr. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we talked about, first 4 years, it was Barr and Kendricks in that order. Then all of a sudden, Kendricks, like last year, just flipped a switch, man. He's playing phenomenal. Ben Durham. If you had to choose one wide receiver, who would you choose? Moss, Diggs, or Jefferson? It's still Moss. Still Moss 98. Jefferson would be 2. 2017 Diggs was great, especially the miracle play, but Astro Zio. Kirk is on fire. We are going to be really scary and dangerous if the D plays more physical and we stop the turnovers. Agreed. Vilma. Yeah, Vilma's garbage, man. Thorvald Von Johnson. There is still something wrong with the offense. Score a few points, and then they go to sleep. Pump, punt, fumble. What can the coaches do to keep offensive momentum, go for a complete game? Who needs to step up? Well, I mean, you don't score every possession. I mean, not even the Chiefs do that. It is a cat and mouse game. You do it for respect. The defensive coordinators making adjustments because once Kubiak gets off of scripted plays in the first quarter, sometimes defenses adjust and they stop him. So I think that Kubiak does need to improve to a degree. But I think overall you have to be happy with how the offense is playing. And Ernesto Esparza, will Vikings blow out the Jags? That better. They should. Camille Clement. Who's the most underrated? Thielen, Kendricks, Wilson? Probably, fan base-wise, probably Wilson. National-wise, Kendricks. Absolutely. Number 2, who wins? Vikings versus Steelers? That's the weird thing about this season. I mean, the Steelers obviously are undefeated, but they've struggled in a couple of the games. And they're not this juggernaut. They're a bad running team. If you can get some heat on Big Ben, you can make some hay. The defense is sort of come and go. So, I mean, this is a year when anyone can win, which is a lot of fun. So if the Vikings just sneak into the dance and get hot for 4 games, anything can happen, man. Zach Ballas. I hope, Vikings win revenge for Super Bowl 9. I hope Kirk Sember is better than Kirk Vember. Yeah, could you, man? Kirkuary? Let's go. Zachary Wilson. Vikings at number 1 power rankings one time. Should we just do it? Power rankings out tomorrow. Maybe we'll just do it. Pull for Skull. I'm just going to say it. Hercules, Jerome, Cousins is better than Teddy. I said it, but it's true. I mean, that's just your opinion, man. Well, he was yesterday. Ginger Master HG. Brett Jones is not the same. Ezra is the answer. No, Dakota Dozier is not the same. Brett Jones and Ezra are the answer. Cascanaway, 49ers have the same record of us. They realistically have a playoff shot as well. They do. Except that team is being held together by duct tape. We complain about Vikings injuries, but man, the Niners are dinged up. MJ the GOAT, you're going to hate me, but I promise you we'll lose. Jags are going to kill us off. Okay. Pulver School, what a game. Absolutely. Well, that is it. That is Monday's live stream. No live stream tomorrow. I'm taking my kid to the dentist. So we'll see you Wednesday. You guys are the best.